Chazal teach us that every Parsha speaks not only to its own time, but to ours as well. Parshas Bo teaches two enduring lessons: why Hashem chose a long and difficult process instead of instant redemption, and why it was necessary for the Jews to emerge from Egypt with dignity, strength, and wealth. We see both lessons unfold as the Torah describes the climax of Yetzias Mitzrayim, the final three plagues, Arbe, Choshech, and Makas Bechoros, and the Korban Pesach, through which Hashem reveals himself and redeems his people. The Mefarshim ask, why by the earlier plagues does Hashem instruct Moshe, Lech el Paro, go to Paro, but in our Parsha, the Torah changes its wording to Bo el Paro, come to Paro. A possible answer is that earlier, Moshe meets Paro at the river, one-on-one. In those encounters, Moshe is confident. He trusts that his holiness can withstand Paro's tumah, his impurity. Alone, face-to-face, Moshe does not hesitate. Now, Moshe is no longer confronting Paro privately. He's being sent into the palace, into the center of power, noise, intimidation, and distortion. Surrounded by ministers, sorcerers, and false narratives, a place filled with immorality, filled with tumah, Moshe hesitates. And Hashem says to him, come with me. Ki ani hichbadti es libo, for I have hardened his heart. Do not be intimidated by the setting. Do not be overwhelmed by the crowd. I am with you, and I control their hearts and their powers. This leads to a deeper question. If Hashem controls Paro's heart, why the need for the other plagues that unfolded slowly over the course of a full year? Why not end everything immediately? Why not bring Makas Bechoros at the onset? Certainly, in a blink of an eye, Hashem could have transported all the Jews immediately to Eretz Yisrael. The Torah answers, Leman shisi ososai ela birkerbo, so that I may place my signs within him. A redemption that comes too easily is not remembered. What fades can be denied, and what is denied can be rewritten. Chazal in the Midrash express this on the verse in Mishlei, Koved even v'neta achol, the heaviness of stone and the weight of sand. To engrave stone takes time, effort, and pressure. But once engraved, it cannot be erased. It cannot be denied. It cannot be rewritten. One can write on sand quickly. Even a child can do so with his finger. But one strong wind, and it's gone. Not even a trace remains. Hashem could have redeemed us in a moment, but the wind of time would have blown away the memory. Instead, the long and difficult process engraved Yetzias Mitzrayim into the Jewish heart forever. That is why a Jew remembers Zecher Yetzias Mitzrayim every day, not because it merely happened, but because it was engraved and inspires him with faith. For something to last, it must come through difficult efforts and time. Then the Torah teaches a second lesson, equally relevant today. Hashem instructs the Jewish people to quote-unquote borrow klei chesed v'klei zahav, silver and gold utensils from the Egyptians. And remarkably, Hashem needs to plead with them. Daber no v'yishalu, please speak and let them ask. The Gemara in Brachos 9a, citing Rav Yanai, explains, Hashem pleaded so that Avraham Avinu would not say, you fulfilled v'inu osam, that they will be afflicted, but you did not fulfill v'achrechen yetzu b'rchush gadol. Afterwards they will leave with great wealth. Here the Divrei Yisrael of Majlis, may his merit protect us, asks a penetrating question. Why was Hashem concerned about Avram's complaint, but not about the Jewish people themselves, who endured the slavery and could rightly complain that the promise has not been fulfilled? He answers, when an individual beseeches Hashem on his own behalf, his request in Shemayim may go unheard. Mi yomer lecha ma taseh. Who can say to you what to do? One cannot command Hashem to do anything. But when a tzaddik, especially if it's Avram Avinu, pleads on behalf of Klal Yisrael, it is considered as he comes bizroa, with force and authority. This also helps us to understand the true makeup of a tzaddik. He is one that cannot tolerate Jewish suffering. Even before the people themselves articulate the claim, the tzaddik is already standing before Hashem. but why demand wealth at all, especially since the Jews are being freed and will receive the Torah despite not having the wealth? Should emphasis be placed on material well-being? The HaRav Zecher Tzadik Levracha in his Sefer Tcheles Mordechai explains, Avram Avinu understood that influence in the world requires stature. V'Avraham kaved ma'od v'kesev uvazahav. Avram was exceedingly wealthy. Only then could he bring souls close to Hashem. Ves hanefesh asher asu v'charon. So too, when the Jewish people left Egypt, the Torah tells us, V'gam erev rav ola yitam. A mixed multitude of converts went up with them, but that was only because v'tzon uvakar mikna kaved ma'od, when they saw the wealth of the Jews. Influence does not come automatically. Only when the Jewish people left with dignity, strength, and substance did their message carry weight. That is not materialism, that is realism. Truth backed by strength is heard. These two messages of how faith becomes permanent and how that faith is carried into the world with influence speak to our generation. For Torah to flourish in Eretz Yisrael, we must toil, sacrifice, be consistent, and have patience. Additionally, we must strive and assist yeshivos and other Torah institutions in being free from constant financial anxiety so that they can expand, develop, and inspire. For Israel to endure, time, effort, and heartache are essential. For Israel to be recognized and respected among the nations, it must develop its industries, grow its economy, and increase its population. For peace to endure, it cannot be rushed. It must be forged through strength, sacrifice, and patience. Peace that comes too quickly is like writing in sand. It does not last. Peace that is earned through perseverance is engraved like stone. Parshas Bo explains why Hashem did not redeem us in a single instant. What comes too easily is forgotten. What is not engraved is erased, and what is erased is denied. But truth, carved through struggle, cannot be undone. When Moshe hesitated to enter Paro's palace, the center of power, intimidation, and falsehood, Hashem says, Bo, come with me. That call stands today, when lies travel faster than truth, and history is rewritten almost as fast as it occurs. Do not retreat from hostile spaces. Do not soften truth to make it acceptable. Faith that is engraved is remembered. A people who stand with strength are heard, and what is engraved in the Jewish heart and lived with courage cannot be rewritten. May we merit to stand firm, protected and sealed by the blessing of Avraham Avinu. B'cha chosmin Magen Avraham. Shabbat Shalom.